Okay. Guys in the chat. Guys on YouTube. Guys everywhere.
TikTok.
No, definitely not there. So StarCraft 2 has a new patch. Like maybe a month ago or so, they did release ideas for a patch, and I went over those, and it was really exciting because it was one of the biggest set of ideas that we've seen. Jake hasn't looked at those, and he hasn't been super active lately. He actually, it's funny, he played one game this morning on his laptop when we were just chilling. Well, the kids were at school and won it, of course. But
Of course.
It got patched since then. Like right when I was turning on the stream, I realized that there was a patch. So this is exciting. I don't know what's in it. I do mostly remember what they were talking about, so I can kind of give some background. But we're going to go ahead and discuss what this is looking like. All right. And Taro Adun.
Good.
With the new patch, whatever, released today, we've tried to accomplish the following goals. Make Protoss more stable on a professional level in the early game versus Raven pushes and more able to fight Terran mid-late game armies without solely relying on disruptors. Increase the variety in the mid-game and late-game army compositions by reducing the strength of masked ghosts, banelings, and disruptors. Make specialized units, Cyclones, Mothership, and Infestors viable throughout more stages of the game. Bring more visual clarity to important units on the minimap, as well as relevant abilities like Widowmine targeting and Disruptor's cooldown indicator.
Wait, what does that mean? Bring more visual clarity to important units on the minimap. What does that even mean? Like, are they
I think it's on the minimap, comma. So for the minimap specifically, what they're talking about is they made it so that drop overlords, medevacs, and prisms are all the same size on the minimap.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That makes sense, right?
Yes. Great change.
It is.
That is a great change.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not. No
That's a
cap?
game changer.
No cap? That's what they say,
I
right?
just could not give
the
a
young
shit.
kids?
You see a dot coming to your base, it's probably a prism.
Yeah,
You're
but
probably dead, so
if
it
it's
doesn't
too
matter.
small, you know? Okay, and also promote more interaction in late game scenarios by making units such as Tempest, Mothership, and Broodlords more maneuverable. StarCraft 2 Community Balance Council. Look at these guys. They think they're from fucking Lord of the Rings, and they're meeting at fucking to figure out to throw the patch into Mordor.
They're
or
using
some
the
shit.
council name.
God. Community Balance Council. They have little fucking. They probably have lanyards with like.
They
little
probably have
things
their
that
own
say
titles, like headmaster and
at the
priestess.
next fucking MLG, they're going to be wearing name tags and shit that says I'm part of the Community Balance
Community
Council.
head
God.
priest.
Okay, so what do you think about that as an idea for the patch?
I think it's good. I agree with pretty much everything on the ideas except for, I mean, it's fine. I don't have any complaints.
No complaints.
No.
But do you think these might
I think
be
all
some
these
things that
changes
are
would
wrong?
make the game better.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay, that's basically what we're going for. All right, here we go. The first one. Balance update, Terran Cyclone. Costs reduced from 150-100 to 125-50. Holy shit, that's so cheap.
Jeez.
Tech lab requirement removed.
What? That means you can reactor out cyclones?
Dude. Health reduced from 120 to 110. Armor reduced from 1 to 0. Supply costs reduced from 3 to 2. Auto attack range increased.
What are they
Lock
doing?
On now uses the Cyclone's auto attack damage and no longer ignores armor. Okay. That's a little nerf to it. Auto attack damage, attack speed now 11 plus 3 versus mechanical. 0.481 cooldown, plus 1 damage per upgrade. Okay. Lock on cooldown removed. Lock on no longer has delay before first shot and maintains weapon cooldown between lock-ons.
Okay.
Hold on. Lock on cast range reduced from 7 to 6. Lock on max range reduced from 15 to 9.
Oh, okay. That's a big
But
change.
there's no cooldown on the lock on. Like you're literally always
Anytime
locking
it's
on
in
from
range,
6
locked.
range
Yeah.
and backing up to 9.
Okay.
Multiple Cyclones will now autocast lock on onto the same target. Oh, okay. Okay. So, like, I think before they were spreading it. So it's like lings and roaches run in and it's fucking, it's hitting like 7
But
lings.
there's something nice about that depending on what the army composition is. For example, you don't want them all auto-locking onto a single Zergling, right? So it would be better that it's spread across all the Zerglings that are coming at you while you walk back.
Just to make this clear, because the attack range is 6 and the lock-on range is 6, and there's no cooldown for lock-on. Will it just always be in lock-on attacking?
Yeah.
It should always be because it's matches. It will always be locked on. You can't make it just attack.
And it'll retarget immediately, right? So I guess it doesn't matter.
So hold on. That means that fucking Cloud from Viper doesn't do anything against it. Because that reduces range to 1. Blinding Cloud? So that doesn't do anything because it doesn't actually have an attack. Or the attack is the lock-on. Okay. Magfield Accelerator upgrade removed. Move speed reduced to just below 4. New upgrade. Excuse me. Increasing move speed from, or to the old speed. 100, 100, 100 seconds. Tech Lab upgrade. Community Council comment.
Yes.
Rework the Cyclone to make it into more all-around unit in all matchups. Aims to increase the viability of mech-based gameplay against Protoss, while promoting more active engagements with mech-based armies. Note, Cyclone will will not auto-cast lock-on on buildings, using its basic attack if no other enemies are nearby. Wow, that makes it even better, actually. Okay, what do you think about this?
I feel like there's a lot of changes to try to conceptualize it all and without seeing and playing with it, but it sounds like the goal of the rework makes a lot of sense. I'm slightly scared that they can reactor them out with Hellions. I have no idea what the implications of that would be. Like, I don't know, double factory, double reactor, really quick. Hellion Cyclone attacks sound like they could be really strong. I have no fucking clue, but I like the concepts. I'd have to see it and play with it to really understand the implications of everything, all the changes.
They're slower, which I think is really important.
Yes, that is
really important. Because imagine this, right? You're always locking on at 6 range and running back to 9, right? So, like, you have to be slower so shit can catch you.
Yes. Well, if it wasn't slower, it would be
completely broken.
Yeah.
It would be completely insane. But it looks way better.
I agree.
Way better. And I got to tell you, the Cyclone is one of the worst designed units ever made in any RTS. It is a garbage unit.
This is a way better use case for the Cyclone. 100%. I feel like I said, I don't know. I can't conceptualize all the changes working together, you know? I feel like every time I try to put one change and compare it to the current Cyclone, but it's hard to conceptualize all of them working together.
Yeah.
But it's a good step. It's a good move. I would like to play with it. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next. Ghost. Snipe damage reduced from 170 to 130 plus 40 versus Psionic. Okay, so still want to like one-shot High Templars, right? EMP radius reduced from 1.75 to 1.5. Okay. Community Council comment. The triple C, as I like to call it. Reducing the radius of EMP will encourage Protoss to use Psystorm in the PvT matchup and help Protoss in straight-up engagements versus Terran armies. Snipe will no longer one-shot units such as Zealots and Roaches, as well as requiring an extra shot to kill Ultralisks in the late game versus Zerg, generally reducing the cost efficiency over time, while still being able to kill important spellcasters such as Vipers.
I feel like, and I hope I don't sound like an idiot, but it feels like we get to a point where Terran is chilling and they're building tons and tons of ghosts, or they're trying to pump out as many ghosts as possible until they get like a critical mass of ghosts, and then they can start trying to make plays. I don't know how much that will affect Terran wanting to do that, because it feels like at that point they already spam snipes and just try to kill what they can when it's in range.
Yeah.
So it's not like this makes the ghost less viable in the late game, and it doesn't change the way Terran wants to play the late game, it feels like, against Zerg anyways.
I agree with that.
So it is a nerf, but I don't know.
It's not huge for late game.
Yeah, I don't know how much this is going to change everything.
Yeah. But okay, so the EMP radius being reduced, I think, is good. We definitely do see very few High Templar openers against Terran, But also, that being said, I do feel like there's a little bit of laziness from the Protoss players. It's always like fucking 5 high templars stand next to each other and they get EMP'd. And
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that's Yimba. And it's like, I don't know, spread them. You don't have to
Well,
use just
I mean,
one
you
hotkey.
you see like a
Do you
ton
think
of
you could use 2 hotkeys? Is that too
you
much
see a lot
to
of
ask?
Templar Prism stuff, right? Which
Yeah,
is
you do see
creative.
that sometimes.
I think it's nice that you're because I think it's Terran or Protoss feel like the EMP splashes your army and you're like, well, that's the engage is over. Like I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
So at least now it feels like there is some spread attack play maybe. Versus like before the EMP range, if they have that many EMPs, they're just gonna EMP your entire army. It's gonna be blanketed. So I do like that. And I think creative ways to not have your Templar be EMP'd are just gonna stay the same. So really, it just feels nice that your entire army isn't gonna get splashed.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So I think it's a good change for
Good
sure.
change. Widow Mine. Drilling Claws now also makes the Widow Mine unburrow twice as fast.
Nice.
Triple C says, returns some of the strength to active Widowmine micro in the mid-game versus Zerg that was lost after the Drilling Claws burrow speed nerf while not significantly increasing the power of Widowmine drops.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong complaint. I do feel like it does make the drops better, but I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but it's more used, like Unburrow is more, yeah, it gets used
But I
in there
guess
too, but it gets used
yeah.
a lot when like one ling is running in, right? Like they'll Unburrow.
Yeah, and also it's at Drilling Claws, so we're not talking like early game stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, seems so. Medevac. Speed upgrade replaced with Caduceus reactor. Increases Medevac's energy regeneration rate by 100%. Cost 153 seconds. Upgraded from the fusion core. Minimap radius increased. So it says replaces the current unused Medevac upgrade with an upgrade which could be used in active games with a large Medevac count that run out of energy. Standardizes mini-map size of Warp Prism Medevac Overlord. Previous Medevacs. Yeah. Okay.
I don't hate it. I mean,
There is a lot of games where you just have a fleet of low energy Medevacs and you just kind of start
I
getting
feel like when we
grinded
get
down.
to that point, yeah, I don't have a strong problem with this.
Yeah, I think that seems okay for late game.
I don't know how much people are actually going to.
I mean, you're playing against 40 disruptors anyways, so it doesn't matter.
When you go into late game, it's like I don't feel like we actually have that much of energy issues. But if you do, I guess like if you're playing a very active game, then it would be nice to have an upgrade like this.
Yeah, I like it, and it's pretty late.
It's definitely going to be better used than the previous upgrade.
Yeah, I've seen that game that was used one time in GSL. That speed upgrade, when I was casting at least.
I like bringing in a new upgrade that we can at least play with. I don't have a strong opinion on it.
Raven. Interference Matrix now requires a research. 50-50, 57 seconds. Research at the Starport's Tech Lab.
I like
a single Raven opening can currently disable multiple key defensive units in early pushes against Protoss. The cheap cost of the upgrade still allows for multiple Raven play in TVT and specialized builds in TVP.
Yeah, the bigger thing is just the time of being able to delay the ability to use it. I like it. I mean, it feels very unsatisfying when a Raven just disables all your key defensive structures and an army comes in and kills you. So I do like this.
You know, I really want to see what Juan has to say about this, about this patch. Like, this just struck me because do you remember when the Blue Flame upgrade did +10 against light units? When they nerfed that to +5, he came to me in the GSL studio and he said, Terran is done. Hellions will never be used again.
Nice.
And I was just like, the upgrade gives +5. That's a lot. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'd like to see what he has to say about this. He'll probably say that this is an unplayable matchup now.
He might.
Oh, man. Okay. Hellbat. Damage bonus per upgrade reduced from +1, +2 to +1, verse light to +2. Okay, yeah, so it's one less plus light. Will no longer one-shot Zerglings with +3 attack. Yes, that's the dumbest thing in the whole world. Because right now, that's actually a meta thing. You probably have missed out on this because it's kind of recent. But late game, you'll actually see, even with just straight regular bio play, you'll just like reactor out +3 attack Blue Flame Hellbats, and the Zerglings run up and they don't even hit. They go and everything dies.
Yeah, that sounds.
It's super stupid looking. It's super stupid.
Yeah, that sounds pretty unfun. So
it's incredibly stupid looking. I'm sure it's fun for the Terrans. Like, hey, you can't even hit me. Now, wait. Before we go to Zerg, What do you think overall, not looking at any other balance, just within the Terran race? Overall nerf, overall buff, what do you think?
Definitely hard to conceptualize the Cyclone, but
Yeah.
I would say overall nerf
Yeah, I think so.
for sure.
It feels
Though
like
I don't feel like the changes. They're not going to make Terran like unplayable by any means.
Yes.
Like it's a very slight nerf, and I think we'd have to really see the new Cyclone to cast judgment. Like it's hard for me to conceptualize all the different moving parts on a Cyclone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, slight nerf overall, I would say.
Okay, I agree. But okay, and one more thing. For Terran, do you like the direction?
Yes.
Not taking anything else into account, you like the direction?
Do. Yes.
Cool.
I do. I mean, the Cyclone changes. It's a great direction. Again, I have no idea what it looks like in implementation, but the idea and the way they're doing it makes a lot of sense to me. It's going to be a better overall unit. It's going to feel less gimmicky, and it's going to be used in a better way overall.
Cool. Zerg, Lurker, adaptive talents, move speed bonus removed, and the cost reduced as some of the main counters to Lurkers are getting nerfed. Reduce the speed of repositioning Lurkers in the late game.
Okay. What main counters to Lurkers were nerfed?
I mean, ghosts have like a slight nerf there, and then disruptors are getting nerfed, I think. Right.
Okay.
That would be the thing that, right? Would be occurring.
I don't know. Okay.
I think they're quick enough on creep. I think Zerg players will be okay. How quick does shit really need to be for Zerg? Look, if you have 9 bases, it's your fucking fault, okay? If you lose one, it's your fault. You don't need your units to teleport across a fucking map.
Sure.
All right, Infestor. Pathogen glands removed. Starting
Nice.
energy to 75. Fungal growth cast range reduced to 9. Fungal growth damage reduced from 30 to 25. Since the infested Terran ability was removed, the Infestor has no utility until reaching 25 or 75 energy. Well, there was nothing sadder than one popping out and throwing out one infested Terran. It's like the worst thing in the world. Fungal damage and cast range is reduced to prevent infestors from killing Marines with 2 consecutive fungals. And as a trade-off to the EMP radius nerf in the TVZ late game.
Okay, I guess. I feel like the Infestor's doesn't feel like a very impactful unit until a period of time where it probably doesn't matter anymore. That the range is being slightly reduced and the damage is also being slightly reduced. Like once we get to the point where Infestors are very impactful units, it's really just you want to grab that ball of units and keep them from moving. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah, one radius sucks.
I kind of like the idea of them popping out and being able to cast a spell, though.
That's nice.
So
but
like,
again,
if you're on a very tight schedule, you'll still get the spell, you know?
Yes, but I don't know. I feel like current utility it doesn't change much because
I think
you're using Infestors when they already have Pathogen Gland, basically.
I think it's a slight buff to Dark because he's like the only one that goes Infestors kind of early.
Yeah,
like he goes Infestor.
Well,
with
if you go
his
Infestors kind of
Roach Ravager
early,
song.
the damage decrease kind of sucks, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Viper. Consume damage reduced from 200 to 150. Reduces the attention required for gathering Viper energy. Because, dude, this one flipped me out last time. The Viper is one of the greatest units ever made in any RTS.
Okay.
They're like, well, we don't want you to have to, like, I don't know, check that you're not killing your own buildings for free mana.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid, to be honest.
Well, thank God for that. Thank you, community balance fucking council, whatever, castle. This is stupid.
I agree.
We don't want you to have to pay attention to things.
I don't think it like the amount of time that needs to go by for your Vipers to actually kill a building and you're not paying attention is pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
So I don't think this is I don't think it's a huge deal either way, but it is kind of stupid to be like, hey, this is this is a problem we need to address.
You
that
could
feels
look
kind of wrong.
right. So if it does 200 for the full thing, what you could do is look at the building and see if it has 200 health or less.
Yeah. Or you could just vaguely look at its HP and know that it's probably going to survive because you play a lot of games and you know how long it generally takes a Viper to kill a building.
Yeah. This is stupid that they did this. This is stupid.
I don't think this was a problem that needed to be addressed, but I also don't think it matters.
I'll go on the record that the Viper should never be buffed. Broodlord. Move speed increased from 2.24 to 2.62. That's an okay increase.
Yeah.
Broodling move speed reduced. Broodling health reduced. Broodling attack speed reduced. Continuing in the direction of the last balance update, further increasing Broodlord mobility while further reducing the strength of Broodlings to compensate should allow for more active play in the late game.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I think the Broodlings are a pretty key part of the Broodlord. And that doesn't seem like it's going to be super speedy. I mean, 2.62 is think of how fast it is right now. It's going to be like, let's see, like 0.4 increase, right? About 0.38.
What is like 20% something? 10%, 15%, somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like 15% quicker. Like that's pretty.
It is. I don't know how much I like the idea of more mobile Broodlords at the expense of their attacking power.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm already not a fan of Broodlords, so like, it feels like they're kind of shit in general. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is a move that makes them more utility or makes them have more utility in the late game. I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah, maybe you can retreat against the incoming like Thors or whatever. Like when you see them, like maybe there's a number we're not seeing here where it's something like by the time you see the Thors coming, you can actually turn around and get back behind your static D or something before the Thors get to it. So if it's something like that, that actually makes a lot more sense to me.
But I mean, your Broodlord should not be getting caught by Thors, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, you know, that's how they end up dying a lot of times in CVT right now. So.
Yeah, but so you're microing back a unit that has less attacking power, basically. So I'm not sure if I would make that, if I'd want the trade-off to be attacking power for the ability to retreat rather than like having more power and having to support the unit. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I'm also not a Broodlord. I don't care. It's whatever.
Okay. Overlord. Deceleration speed increased from 1.49 to 2.28. So they like won't slide, I guess.
Okay.
Or slide less.
They do slide quite a bit, so.
Yeah. Generate creep delay reduced. These two kind of go hand in hand because that's the only thing I think of when I think of Overlords decelerating is like when you send a group and you want to drop creep. So that's much quicker. Reduce the amount of time it takes for Overlords to stop and begin dropping creep to allow for more active usage of Queen drops. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I like the
Ragnarok, man. He's going to be our champion soon.
I like the idea because I think I don't know if we want to necessarily buff Queen drops, but I do like the idea of having a bit more potential to like stop drop units and like maybe micro them around a bit because Overlords you just can't do that. Like, well, you really can't micro them like that. But I don't know if I like that in the offensive attack. I like it in more of like the lurker drop stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Is there a layer tech Queen drop build that I don't know about?
No.
Because you need layer to drop creep out of an Overlord, right?
Yes.
So to allow for more active usage of Queen drops after layer. That seems odd to me because I don't think that exists.
I think its utility will be more as like a lurker drop unit kind of thing, in my opinion. But sure.
Overlord transport upgrade. Deceleration speed increase. Yeah, same thing. The same as the creep spread. Move speed increased by like 10% plus, right? It's a little bit more than 10%. Move speed with pneumatized carapace up a bit as well.
Boys.
Yeah, much faster. Faster than the Broodlord. They were going to be tied with the Broodlord. Now they'll outrace them.
Yeah.
The Broodlord can't catch the
They're going to be pretty fast, to be honest.
Non-transport upgraded Overlords move speed are unchanged. Allow for more active drop usage in combination with the Baneling damage nerf. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler, Jesus. That
should not
sound
increase the overall strength of the Baneling harass against Protoss. Okay.
Yeah, I like the idea of making Overlord drops a more not viable thing because I think they are viable, but it feels like you can be a little bit more strategic with them instead of like I feel like when you do an Overlord drop now, it's in combination with like some kind of distraction or some kind of engagement going on or whatever.
For sure.
But it does feel like now you might be able to just do multi-overlord drop stuff because they're faster.
More Brood War-esque kind of thing.
Yeah, they unload quicker. Like, you actually have a bit more micro around them. So I like that. I like having a little bit more strategic options.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. That sounds good to me. Because it doesn't feel like we ever see that as like, this is what I'm going to do here. Yeah, it is always just like, this is a distraction and there's a drop.
And it's partly because I think it does take so long to get shit to drop and to stop, and
they're
you can't stop
as fuck.
and then go.
When you compare it to a Prism or a Medevac, it's not even close. It's like,
if you think of an Overlord acting more like a Prism or a Medevac, you would see the instant like utility in it.
Yeah,
and a bit more like that.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Okay, I like that take. Ultralisk, cost reduced from 300, 200 to 275, 200.
Wow,
okay.
25 mineral save.
Burrow unburrow time way buffed. Okay, as if people burrow that very often.
Great.
Lurkers and Broodlord are generally favored over Ultralisks in the late game, as Ultralisks have poor cost efficiency over time. Should make them more used throughout long games while not greatly reducing the initial investment.
What the fuck? We think a 25 mineral decrease on the Ultralisk cost is going to make them more cost efficient?
Well, by definition, it does.
I know, but like,
so
what the fuck?
Other than
I've never played a game and I'm like, man, if I just had more minerals, my Ultras would be so much better. I don't know. I've never felt constrained based on minerals because of building Ultras. I don't know. It just never feels like Ultras have so many other issues with them, like the clunkiness, their size, and
you don't have to worry about Immortals anymore because you just burrow them really quick.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So you burrow them, and they can also unburrow really quick. So when the Observer does come with all the Immortals and they come start shooting you, you can just leave.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you took extra shots in that time from the burrow and unburrow.
Yes.
So it works.
I think if I ever heard somebody propose like making Ultra burrow different, I would say that they're really stupid. That's what I would say.
Community council's watching you.
I just feel like, why? Like, I would be sitting there like, man, Ultralisk burrow traps, right? Maybe, is that what we're going for?
Dude,
Ultralisk burrow traps.
Out there. That's pretty far out there.
We're gonna do some burrow traps, guys, and also 25 minerals cheaper. That makes the burrow traps better.
Yeah, you can put a Zergling next to him that you wouldn't have had before.
That's exciting. I'm excited. You know what? This is a great change.
That one's a little bit weird. All right, Hydralisk. Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
Wait, did we read the CCC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, bullshit. Okay.
Hydralisk.
Yes.
Speed upgrade research time reduced to 64 seconds. Range upgrade cost and time both reduced. Oh, pretty substantially.
Hell yeah.
75, 75, and 50 seconds. That's.
I'm a big fan.
Man.
I am a big fan of Hydra timings.
Increase the speed at which Hydras come online in the mid game for more quickly responding to enemy air switches such as Mutalisk, and to supplement weaker Banelings against ground-based armies.
They keep spoiling the Baneling change.
I know.
It's scary to me that they're changing so many units for that change. So
this is kind of cool.
I like it.
It's kind of cool, but
I think Hydras, they fall off in power so quickly that it feels like there's a period of time where Hydras are really sick, but it's such a small window that nobody wants to fucking use them for that period of time. Yeah. So making that window of utility bigger feels like a good play. I personally like using Hydras. I think they complement units really good, but
it's like 28
they just fall
seconds
off. You know, so
both the upgrades will be done 28 seconds faster and cheaper.
Nice. It's nice.
That's pretty substantial.
I never felt like the Hydra was a great unit if you like spam it out with its upgrades either. So I don't think it's going to be abused. It's nice to have them active a little bit quicker. So hopefully that doesn't make Hydra all-ins strong. It might, but we'll see. Because I am a fan of the Hydra all-ins.
Certainly they'll be better than they were.
Yeah, they were kind of shit though.
One thing I don't like about this down here is they say responding to enemy air switches such as Mutalisks. That's like one of the things that makes ZVZ very interesting in StarCraft 2 is the difference between the Mutalisk build and the non-Mutalisk build. So, but I get it. I guess if you get away with the Mutas coming out, you generally just win with the Roach overpower. So yeah, maybe it is good for making that a little bit less silly.
Can be I think it can. This probably actually has more impact than any other matchup is being able to get Hydra upgrades really quickly in ZVZ. Because I felt a lot of pain in trying to get Hydras actually be able to be utilized against Mutas. By the time you've got them out, the Muta flock is already too powerful. Yeah. And by the time you get to their base, they already have Banelings. So you're just really sad. But there is a possible window here where you could do like a counterattack and actually kill them with an upgraded advantage like that. So
I think that's
We'll
good.
have to see. I don't think it's a crazy change. I don't think it'll make mutas obsolete by any means. So,
Onto the Baneling.
oh,
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Damage bonus per upgrade reduced from 2+2 versus light to just +2. Centrifugal hooks cost reduced from 150, 150 to 100, 100.
Okay.
Research time down by 8 seconds.
Okay.
Health bonus removed.
Okay.
Will no longer one-shot probes or drones with +2 attack. Reduce some of the strength of mass Baneling armies in the mid-game. Excuse me. And reduce the volatility in defending Baneling run-bys by requiring multiple Banelings to kill workers. The speed upgrade will require less of an investment to maintain a similar balance for 2 base Terran Marine tank-based all-ins. Okay, so first up, I do want to say that I am a fan of nerfing Banelings a bit. They're like the strongest unit in the game, basically. It's really silly when you see, like, first off, 90 Banelings right-clicked across the map by Dark, and he just wins. He's like, I don't know, I'm a champion. And then
Do you
also,
feel like that same 90 Baneling right-click, okay, I guess I'm a champion, is changed because of this change?
No, probably not that one as much, but hold on.
Okay.
Here's some other things that they didn't actually say here. So, well, obviously, they mentioned about the one-shot probes or drones. That is so common right now. Like, you watch Solar or Dark, and they just start +1 melee immediately.
It's like a critical...
It's a silly...
It's a critical point of ZV anything, but ZVP specifically. It's like the Baneling run-by phase +2 attack. I personally, I don't like it. It feels very gimmicky. It's like, oh, if these Banes go in, you just lose, and if they don't, then we're kind of still just playing the same game.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like the gotchas, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like, those aren't fun.
Yeah.
And the Zerg never just loses the game because the run-by doesn't hit. So I do like that change. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Also, the health bonus removed by centrifugal hooks, I believe that makes it so that when they roll through Psystorm, they die.
Okay.
Right? Now, I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain because Banelings, like, when they roll through a Psystorm, like, on creep for sure, they just roll right through and they don't die, right? So it's like, I remember actually Showtime back years ago, he started going Mass Archon when he was going to attack because it's like the Storms don't kill the Banelings. Banelings just roll up and hit you.
The Storms just splash them enough that your Archons just clean them up, though.
But you know what I mean, where it's like you're going to go heavier Archon because otherwise it's like you storm them and they run into your army and do damage anyways when they get hit.
For sure. I feel like you already did, like, if they have Storm, you already don't want to engage with Banelings in general. And you're probably pretty desperate if you are. At least in a way where I feel like Storm is a really game changer. Like, if you have a full surround or whatever, it's not going to matter.
I get a little bit nervous. Like, I want Banelings to be nerfed, but what is going to happen when, like, Bjorn is pushing you? You know?
Well,
like, if Bjorn hit his macro. It'll be faster, but they're going to have less health, so it's easier for him to target them, and then they do less damage if they hit, right?
Yeah.
Like, probably 2 less damage. It's not huge.
I don't know if I don't know if the faster centrifugal hooks do much. I really don't. Because we use like Queenling Slow Bane to defend most stuff, and
That's true in the early game, yeah.
And I don't feel like a faster centrifugal hooks is going to stop the attacks because I feel like Queenling Bane already does a really good job of doing that, and I do feel like the less health Banelings it's going to be pretty scary in those attacks, in general. Like, I don't know. I'd like to see some games and feel it, but. I don't know. I just don't know what the research time reduction. I don't know what it does. You know.
Well, I mean, it could help.
It can help. Like, so you're basically like you're able to do that like big engage. Like,
I've casted so many games.
Faster.
I've definitely seen games where Baneling speed just barely doesn't finish and a hatchery dies. Right? Like I've certainly casted that.
But how many games have you seen just like Queenling Slow Bane just defend everything and
more than
like 99% of the games?
Yeah, a lot of games.
I very rarely ever feel like it's like, oh man, if centrifugal hooks was like 7 seconds faster here, I would survive.
Well, you never thought that specifically, but
I love the centrifugal
sometimes
hook
I'm sure you've looked at it and said, "Fuck, it's taken forever."
Yeah, but usually you have enough to just defend. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, next, Spire. Air armor upgrades cost reduced to the same as air weapons. Air armor is generally considered less useful than the air weapons upgrade, despite being more expensive.
Okay. I don't know. I really don't have. Maybe it's because I'm a noob, but I don't. Whenever we have like big mineral gas changes on stuff like this, I really don't feel the impact that much.
Yeah, it's so.
But this actually is a pretty substantial decrease, to be fair. Like going from 150 to 100 on an upgrade is pretty nice because now we have the choice if we want both. You know.
Yeah.
Because before you just be like, okay, this one's cheaper. I'm getting it because I can afford it right now, right this second.
Yeah. Well, I think
now it's like if I can afford one or the other, I can choose.
This seems fine for StarCraft 2 because you don't have like if they did this in StarCraft 1, that would actually kind of screw up ZVZ a little bit because it's really interesting that it costs 50/50 more because the armor upgrade is so used in ZVZ.
Yeah.
Right? But the 50/50 is actually very valuable. So, but yeah, in StarCraft 2, I'm like just totally fine with it. It doesn't feel like anything that big.
I mean, honestly, in StarCraft 2, it feels like mineral gas changes like this don't impact the game nearly as much as Brood War. So, especially for upgrades, like it just doesn't feel as impactful. Like unit changes, yes, especially early game unit changes, like the Cyclone, that'll be a massive difference. But armor being 50 minerals, 50 gas cheaper, it's a change, you know.
All right. And Evolution Chamber. Armor upgrade costs, excuse me, reduced, same. So I guess they're getting all armor upgrades, probably across all, well, across Zerg at least, are all going to be the same as attack upgrades.
Okay.
Right? So 25/25 off there and 50/50 off there.
Cool.
Okay. Protoss time. Wait, before we get into Protoss. Overall feeling for the direction of Zerg. Was it a buff? Was it a nerf?
It's definitely a nerf, I think. Again,
Nerf,
it feels
buff.
No. Go back to the Ultra. Go back to the fucking Ultra list right now.
Buff.
But Infestor is not necessarily a buff.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Nerf.
Hydras actually are a pretty big buff, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's mic neutral. Again, if it was, it wouldn't be super one way or the other, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like they could be very close. We're talking like a 6 or a 4 if it's on a scale.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I feel like overall it is a slight
The Baneling nerf seems very big to me.
Yeah.
Like everything else maybe are either very slight buffs or very slight nerfs. But the Baneling nerf to me could be very big. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I'll say for sure that not being able to kill probes in one Baneling with +2 is a huge nerf. I like it. It's a good nerf.
Yeah.
It's a good nerf, but it's a massive fucking nerf.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, no question.
Yeah, I think it is overall a nerf. I wish that this had the Artosis Balance Council because I would just remove the speed upgrade of creep and we'd be done and the game would be perfect. But, oh well. So overall, do you like the direction?
I do. I like the direction. Yeah? And I do think overall it is a slight nerf, but...
Are you going to try out Ultra Burrow tomorrow?
Yeah.
When we're chilling?
I'm gonna rush out Ultra Burrow. And those Ultras are going to be 25 minerals cheaper and they're going to burrow so fast.
Dude, you have to have a paired Zergling with them. That's how you do it. Okay. Up next, Protoss. Forge shield upgrade costs reduced from this very expensive stuff to more normal. Okay. Air armor upgrades, same thing. Yeah. Okay. It's so it's not armor, it's shields. Like, right? Plasma shield.
Yep.
That's good. That thing is always too expensive.
And it's also very underused, so I kind of wouldn't mind having people use it a bit more because it's a bit more of an option.
Yeah.
So
I think it would be neat, honestly, to make it slightly cheaper. And just see if people want to use plasma shields, right? Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I honestly feel like you make it slightly cheaper. Again, it doesn't feel impactful enough to actually change the game. Would be nice to see it be an option a bit more. So I actually wouldn't care that much if it was slightly cheaper. But the fact that it's even at least makes a choice here. It probably makes it a option to consider. So that's nice. Because before, if it was slightly worse and it was slightly more expensive, it's like, this is not even an option. But in some circumstances, when it's equal, it's like, okay, maybe I'm going to go Archon Heavy or something. And maybe I'm going to go into Sky Protoss later.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And there's like more of an option
reasonable.
there.
That's reasonable. I used to like some of the plays with double forge where you'd get +1 and then a second forge comes down and then you get 2-1 and then you get 2-2 and then you get 3-3 like that. I liked those type of like shifting the forges around for like
Yeah.
maximum.
To get through 3.
I really like stuff like that. That's just kind of aside. I'm like, yeah,
Cool.
I like the color blue. All right, up next, Warp Prism. Minimap radius increased. Yeah, it should look the same
Cool.
size as the others.
Great.
Disruptor, this could be a big one. Supply cost increased.
Okay.
Model scale reduced by 9%. So that should be like less overlap, I believe.
Okay.
Radius increased from 0.5 to 0.625. So model scale is smaller and the radius is larger?
The radius of the bomb, I assume, or the
No,
explosion?
I don't.
Or did,
No,
maybe.
it's the radius of the actual unit. I think this is so when they're on top. You know when you have a big group of well, let's read what they say. I think this is what it is. Reduce the power of mass disruptor in the mid-late game versus Terran without significantly affecting the ability to build disruptors early for pressure builds or defend enemy aggression. Okay, I believe what this is, right, so the way that they're nerfing it specifically, I think, is the supply cost increase. So it's like when you have 10 disruptors.
That is a pretty big nerf.
Yeah.
Obviously, going 3 to 4 is a big deal.
Yeah. And but yeah, so the model scale, right, it will look slightly smaller, but will actually be
Push
bigger.
units out
So
bigger, yeah.
instead of being, because when they're on top of each other, you know they got the spinning parts.
Yes.
And it's this mass. You're like, is there 7 there? Or is there 12 there? It's like actually, it's hard to look at.
I understand.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But this is not. I expected more of a nerf, honestly.
Yeah, 3 to 4 doesn't. It is a nerf. Don't get me wrong, but it feels like when you have an army that's complemented by 2 to 3 disruptors, that it's not going to change much. You know?
It's not.
But it does stop like a fucking 10 disruptor army or whatever. But honestly, I don't know if that's the army that's super strong. To me, it's always like the army complemented by a couple disruptors, so you can't just like engage at very specific times.
Metagame right now is you open with Colossus against Terran, and then later, eventually, you lose your army, and you go just charge lot, stalker, mass disruptor off like 2 to 3 robos.
Well, that'll stop that. But
yeah,
to me, it just feels like we'll shift into like
there's a lot of games with 10 disruptors right now.
we'll shift into just more Colossus, less disruptor, and it'll still feel very strong in my opinion. But cool, we'll see. I think it's a good direction. Anyways, we don't want mass disruptor. It's not fun.
Yeah,
It's just not. It's not fun for anybody.
It's not. It's not fun. Tempest acceleration increase. Ooh, that's twice as quick
that is-
accelerating. Radius / model scale reduced, so it's going to look a little bit smaller and be accelerate quicker. So get to its top speed quicker. They are slow to start up.
Yeah. No,
They're
they
really
are.
slow
They
to
are,
start
they are.
up, which is kind of annoying, especially when like I love Tempest all-ins. Like when you're these fucking bad Roddy builds and stuff. I love those.
It
builds.
feels like the Tempest is a microing unit. That is, it is. If it doesn't micro, it isn't a unit. You know.
Yeah,
Like, if
that's true. It's not like
so-
the old Tempest that Neeb used to just rail people with
No,
from across the
it
map.
is a microing unit, so it feels bad to not be able to micro it like nicely, and I like that change. I like the ability to
Yeah.
like faster turnaround, shoot, keep walking or whatever. It's just nice. It should be smoother to micro the Tempest because that's what it is. It is a microing unit.
Yeah, and that's what they say. Improve the feeling of actively microing
Perfect.
Tempest, as a slow acceleration makes them feel slow to respond
Yep.
when not already moving.
Cool. That's going to be a good change. I like it.
Good change. Yeah, I agree on that. That's definitely going to be more interesting now. Mothership cost reduced from 400 to 300. So
Okay.
that's just going to force a new meme.
New meme, yeah.
Minus 300.
Cool. New meme.
Supply cost reduced from 8 to 6. Build time reduced. Whoa, from 114 to 79.
All right, I'm calling it now. We're gonna have mothership rushes actually be a thing.
Speed increased a little bit. Lateral acceleration increased.
'Kay.
So it changes direction.
Calling it
really
now,
quickly.
1000%. There will be mothership rushes. I don't know if they're gonna be good or not, but there will be, because these I could actually see a decent timing where a mothership could be fucking annoying with way faster build and quite cheaper, especially in like a
cheaper
rush.
supply as well. It
Like
moves
a
faster.
rush instance, this is going to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for some possible mothership rushes into whatever.
Yeah. It says lateral acceleration is how fast the unit changes direction while moving. Increasing this will make the mothership no longer lag behind the army units of similar speed. Yeah,
Cool.
this is a big
buff.
Yeah, this is a big buff. This unit looks so much better now. It looks so much more tempting to make.
I agree.
Right now, you just see...
And also, it
yeah.
feels like a unit that you get first to me. So, like, if I get my Fleet Beacon, I get my Stargate, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
it might be worthwhile to get it before carrier?
Yes, it almost feels like to me 300 is almost the price of a carrier, and it's slightly more utilizable. It feels like it makes sense to build before the first carrier.
Yeah, if you're like short on money or whatever, this actually might complement your ground army. Your defense is a bit better than a carrier.
It would probably complement as a defensive unit for your carrier switch. So
it definitely looks a lot better, man. And like the turning quicker, staying up with the army more.
Yeah, it's
maybe
going to be better.
The Vipers aren't going to destroy it too bad.
And you can get it in such a period of time where you're not going to worry about a Viper pulling you anyways, right?
Yeah.
So
well, they're going to have the mana too, since they aren't killing any buildings.
We'll see. I like it. I honestly like it. Personally, I love utilizing motherships in a strategic way and not just be like, oh, okay, it's a big ball that makes my army invisible. Hoo hoo.
No, when people move them away from the army for like recall and stuff,
recalling and just maybe it's like strategic invisibility for bases or whatever.
Yeah.
To me,
no, I like it, man.
I think this activates the mothership in that way and not just like, oh, it complements my death ball.
Yes. I like that a lot. And with the reduced supply too is I mean, 2 supply in the grand scheme of 200 is not necessarily the end of the world, but I like the idea.
But it is a big deal in the beginning, like first fleet beacon unit.
Yeah.
A difference of 6 to 8 is huge.
Yeah.
So
this was actually how they fixed capital ships in StarCraft 1. They used to be all 8 supply, and then they dropped them to 6, and they got use. Because at 8, it's like, well, you just can't quite, you know, it's just, it's, you know, 4 Goliaths or a battlecruiser. What are we talking about, you know? So stuff like that actually can make a big difference in StarCraft.
I think it's going to be strong, and I would like to see it.
It's definitely going to be interesting. People will love to see Mothership used more. It's an exciting unit to watch. Maybe not to play against, but to watch.
It's not going to be fun to play against, but I'm excited still.
Okay. Wait. Oh.
Oh, no. Wait.
What the fuck?
Why would they put the CCC there?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Okay, so hold on. We got more to talk
Why
about.
would they put the CC there?
Health and shields greatly reduced. Model scale reduced. This is so funny. I can't believe. I'm like trying to not spoiler us.
Oh, my God.
No longer has energy. Spells are now cooldown based and require no energy to cast. So it gets a buff against ghosts.
Okay.
And you know what? That's a buff against infestors too, I think.
Sure. Okay.
Right? Recall now has an 89-second cooldown. What was it before? Do you know?
No idea.
Recall radius reduced from 6.5 to 5. Okay.
Okay.
Time warp now has a 60-second cooldown.
Okay.
Slow reduced from 50% to 40%. You must be happy about that. You thought time warp was going to be the most broken shit ever, remember? And I made so much fun of you because it was never used.
What are we talking about?
When they first gave the mothership time warp,
okay,
you were like, dude, this is the most broken thing ever. And I'm like, Jake, they're never going to use it. You don't remember this? It was like 4 years ago.
I don't.
Okay, it happened. Anyways, you were a fool and I was smart.
Okay.
Okay. Time warp radius reduced from 4.
Also, when time warp first existed, wasn't it used quite a bit?
Oh, the very first time warp. I'm talking about.
We're talking about
the
some kind of time warp
one
change?
that was here. Yeah, when time warp became the bubble that slows
stopped attacks or something, or
yeah,
slowed attacks.
It's when no, not that, but when it became like this slow for attacks. Like you're like, oh, it's gonna go on the corruptors and hydras and stuff, and like.
Well, it doesn't affect air units. I'm not that stupid.
No, you were though.
Okay.
You're just gonna have to take my word.
I do.
Okay. I really wanted to live up this moment and bask in my own glory, and you've truly ruined it.
So now you're saying old Jake would be like, holy shit, it's even more broken now.
No, you'd be happy because the slow is reduced.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So yeah, old Jake is happy.
Gotcha. Okay. Continue.
Buried somewhere deep in your mind. Time warp radius reduced from 4 to 3.75.
Time warp's to Imba. They know it.
Time warp cast delay reduced. Oh, that's quite a reduction.
Yeah.
That's fast. Cloak field is no longer passive. Is now an activated ability which lasts for 20 seconds with a 50-second cooldown.
Ew.
Okay, so they looked at this and they're like, that is a sick buff. Let's nerf.
I kind of wish they wouldn't have done that, to be honest. Like, it would have made the mothership strong. But that's what the fucking mothership is supposed to be, to be honest. I would have liked to see an invisible, like, utility unit. And that's kind of where they were going with it.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't feel like it's going to be that anymore. Like...
Okay, so hold on. Reduce the investment and increase the maneuverability of the mothership and prevent it from being hard countered by EMP. Should allow earlier mothership builds in all matchups as well as more active usage of mothership. Well, we agree with that.
We do agree with that.
The one thing that is
Like a
this is
20-second
actually
invisible field doesn't feel very good.
yeah,
to me.
It doesn't, but this might mean that people don't care about detection around it as much, and people might grow lax over time, use less detection.
I don't know, the
and
way I
then
was-
we might get like a really powerful like cloak moment.
I guess.
Okay, so do we like the new mothership or not?
I like it overall. I would have liked
I
to
like
see
it
it be a
overall, too.
little bit stronger, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it could have had permanent cloaking.
I think it could have been perma cloaking too.
Yeah, I think
would
if
have
you
liked
change
to,
that, I'm
honestly,
happy overall.
if this was me, I would have liked to see a permanent cloak and then be ready to change it, because I do think that would be very strong.
Yeah.
And
You should want it
again,
to be strong. I think.
I would want it to be strong. I wouldn't want it to be broken, but I'm not sure if a permanent cloak field makes it broken. I don't think it does. Doesn't really now, so I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it does.
Well, this just makes it so much weaker. It's like this
It does.
weird
It makes
flying
it way weaker.
spellcaster.
It makes it way weaker,
Yeah.
for sure.
So I'm a little bit disappointed in this last line. Everything else looks really
Me
reasonable.
too. If this was me and I could turn out patches quick, I would like to try it with just cloak field being permanent and
Yeah.
be ready to change it again, because it would be fun to have a strong mothership in the mid to early game.
Mhm.
It doesn't make it much stronger in the late game at all.
Mhm.
So
All right. Sentry. Guardian Shield duration increase from 10.71 to 12.86. Allows Guardian Shield to be precast before engaging Terran armies involving ghosts, lasting longer into the fight.
cool.
Reasonable. Oracle. Stasis Ward sight range increased from 4 to 7. Allows Stasis Ward to be more central map vision with Stargate-based openings. Dude, Stasis Ward is already super
It's
broken.
pretty fucking good.
It's
Yeah,
like the most underrated spell in the game by far.
I would agree, and it's pretty good. Like,
Dude,
I think most
it's-
people agree with it being
People
pretty good.
win games off of one Stasis
It's-
Ward, or
yeah,
they
you can,
prevent themselves from
100%.
dying 100% off of one.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's such a good
I've
spell.
never, I never think like, man, if only that Stasis Ward just saw those units had slightly more range.
It's
to see
Protoss
these
creep
units.
now, man. People aren't
Yeah.
even going to harass the Oracles. They're just going to lay Stasis Wards.
That's a strong change. Again, I don't think it's a game-changing
Yeah.
by any means, but feels like an unnecessary change.
Yeah. Stasis Ward is already amazing. Immortal. Barrier will now also block the first instance of damage which triggers it. I like that. I like that very much.
Okay.
Counts towards 100 damage blocked by the barrier. Currently, EMP hitting an Immortal will drain all of the Immortal shields, as well as activating the barrier, which will generally expire before the Immortal ends up receiving other damage, making the ability lose value in the mid-game against Terran. Well, I think just in general, I see that so often. Like, a Siege Tank will hit it, and it loses, like, a bunch of shields, and then the Protoss pulls back with it. Like, I like it blocking the first shot. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And it gives more micro to the other race, because you want to hit it with something like a
the other
Ghost
race
or
already
Marine.
is doing that too. Like a lot of stalker shots where you just trigger the shield and then you go in.
Yep.
So. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Void Ray fixed an issue where the move speed of Void Rays with Flux Veins while Prismatic Alignment was active. Okay. They fixed a bug with Void Rays.
Cool.
Okay, bug fixes. Yeah, we don't really care about those. And then there's a new map pool. We don't care about that.
Do we not care about the new map pool? Is it different?
I mean, do you know these maps?
No. Do you want to look them up, or you just don't give a shit?
No, I want to play zero.
Okay,
I want to talk about overall the patch, though. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Protoss overall, buff or nerf?
Buff
Buff.
for sure.
In fact, there was the only nerf was this, really.
Yeah, and that's a nerf. That's pretty.
It's
Fair.
an okay nerf, yeah, but it seems overall it's like definitely a buff.
It's definitely a buff, and Protoss should be buffed for
Yeah.
what it's worth.
Yeah,
I like it. I like the buff too. Again, I wish they would have made the mothership be a little bit more powerful, and I would have liked to see it maybe be rolled back, because I have no idea how powerful it would be with full cloak. But overall buff and overall great direction. I like the direction of it.
yeah, I do too. With the Protoss especially, I'm actually I like the Protoss changes more than the other changes overall.
For sure.
What do you think? How like overall the whole patch as a complete whole? Do you see any problems that could arise? Is there anything where you're like,
Yes.
oh, I think they fucked this up?
So, biggest problem that could arise to me is a Cyclone. Again, I don't.
That's
I
the hardest one to imagine.
It's really hard to imagine it, and reactored Cyclones to me sounds insane. That's all. Because I can just see I can see very high factory reactor counts and being insane, like Hellion Cyclone on reactors, like maybe a mid or early game push with like 2-fact Cyclone Hellion sounds nuts to me. Again, it's hard to conceptualize all the changes, so we'll have to see. That would be the scariest change out of all these changes, in my opinion. And then maybe the second would be Mothership. But again, scary in a good way. I like the idea of a powerful Mothership build. I like the idea of being able to build have that be a build where we have like a utilized Mothership build.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That would be
It sounds
that would
like
be
it could be
super
scary, but it
exciting.
would be cool. Yes.
Yeah, and it's okay if it's scary. The thing is, generally, you're not going to have such a big unit be something that breaks the game, right? Like for a long time, not for a long time, but there was a period where like battlecruiser rushes were super strong against Zerg, but they basically got figured out, right? They're basically
like a battleship
it's okay now.
teleport thing is way scarier than this.
Yeah,
Even if it was full cloak, the idea that you could just build a battlecruiser and teleport across the map would be the scariest fucking thing ever still.
Yeah.
And we still dealt with that shit, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, a Mothership with full cloak field and all the changes would still be dealable.
yeah,
So,
So, yeah, so that's, I definitely agree. The one thing that is very hard to conceptualize is the Cyclone and how those are really going to function. We're going to have to see people build new strategies around it and stuff and new build orders.
like a cheaper reactorable Cyclone sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of changes to conceptualize against each other. So,
but overall on the patch, because you've always been someone that says you think that there should be a huge patch to mix up StarCraft 2 every year.
Yep.
And this feels like it's mixing it pretty good. This is one of the bigger patches.
I would, obviously, if this was my way, I would like to go even crazier. But fuck, it's a really nice patch. Like it's like halfway between what I would want it to be and what a previous patches were like, you know? So if I could make it like 50% more crazy, I would. But I'm very happy with overall, like actually trying to rework units and have them utilized in different ways is exciting to me. Like making the Mothership a different unit basically and making the Cyclone a different unit basically are great fucking concepts.
Yeah.
So
I like it a lot.
Overall, I'm very happy.
And so they got released today. So we're going to cast together the cup on Monday.
Exciting. Yes.
That's going to be
That'll
really
exciting.
fun. That's going to be amazing to see what people are busting out with that.
That's exciting. And it'll give it enough time. Like if ESL Cup or whatever was now, wouldn't have enough time. But I think in 3 or 4 days, the ladder will already have been playing a decent amount, and we'll probably get to see some strategies out of it. So
yeah, for sure.
It's good timing too.
I think we're going to see a lot of mech on Monday, honestly.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to want to watch Protoss games and Terran games specifically. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the way Zerg plays is much different.
Yeah.
But it does feel like both Terran and Protoss could play very differently.
X300, fucking Star Trek video game nerds being all excited and horny because some computer nerds employees slightly changed some video games parameters. Question your life, brothers. You weaklings couldn't bench press a water
Here's a counter though. You are donating to those nerds. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's showing. He's setting his money on fire and laughing.